Hey people, get ready to crush everyday IELTS and CELPIP tests for all modules and make your dreams come true. I'm your motivator and I'll be guiding you through the test prep videos. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or you'll be missing out on some serious preparation.
What advice would you give this newcomer about the best ways to improve their English quickly in Canada? Begin speaking now.
Hi, I'm happy to help you with this. First, I think you should join a free English class. Many libraries and community centers in Canada offer these classes for newcomers. Also, try to watch Canadian TV shows and listen to local radio stations. This will help you understand how people speak here. Another good idea is to volunteer somewhere, like a food bank or a local event. You will meet friendly people and practice speaking every day. Finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everyone understands you are learning. Good luck with your English.
Welcome to Canada. I'd love to share some suggestions that really work. To begin with, I'd strongly recommend enrolling in a free language program through your local settlement agency, such as link classes funded by the government. These programs are specifically designed for newcomers and focus on practical, everyday English. Beyond that, immersing yourself in English media is incredibly helpful. Try listening to CBC Radio or watching Canadian news programs daily. Additionally, joining a community group or sports league is a fantastic way to build friendships while practicing conversational English in a natural setting. You might also consider finding a language exchange partner who wants to learn your first language. This way, you both benefit and stay motivated throughout the process.
I completely understand how overwhelming it can feel to improve your English in a new country, but honestly, Canada offers some remarkable opportunities for language development. First and foremost, I'd encourage you to take advantage of government-funded settlement programs, particularly link courses, which provide structured learning tailored to newcomers' real-world communication needs. Equally important is surrounding yourself with English outside the classroom, subscribing to Canadian podcasts, following local news outlets like CBC or Global, and even switching your phone's language settings can create constant exposure. What truly accelerates fluency, however, is meaningful social interaction. Volunteering with organizations such as Habitat for Humanity or participating in neighborhood events forces you to use English authentically rather than rehearsing textbook phrases. I'd also suggest keeping a daily journal in English to strengthen your writing alongside your speaking. The key is consistency. Even 15 minutes of deliberate practice each day compounds into significant progress over a few months.
Your neighbor insists translation apps are enough and dismisses your advice. How do you respond to persuade them while remaining respectful? Begin speaking now.
I understand you like using your translation app, and that's okay. But I want to share something important. Apps are helpful for translating words, but they can't help you have real conversations with people. In Canada, you need to talk to neighbors, doctors, and co-workers in English. If you only use an app, it will be very slow. I'm not saying stop using it. I'm saying try other things too, like going to a free English class. Many newcomers do this and improve very fast. I just want to help you because I care. Please think about it.
I really appreciate that you've found a method that works for you, and I'm not suggesting you abandon your translation apps entirely. However, I'd like you to consider something from my own experience living here. Language isn't just about understanding words, it's about connecting with people, reading social cues, and expressing yourself confidently in real situations. When you visit a walk-in clinic or attend a parent-teacher meeting, an app simply can't replace genuine communication skills. What concerns me is that relying solely on technology might actually slow your progress rather than speed it up. Would you be open to trying just one English conversation group at the community center? You could still use your apps alongside it. I truly believe combining both approaches would give you the best results, and I'd even be happy to go with you the first time.
I hear what you're saying, and I genuinely respect your independence. Figuring things out on your own takes real determination. That said, I gently push back on the idea that translation apps alone can get you where you want to be. Here's the reality. Those tools are excellent for quick translations, but they fundamentally cannot replicate the dynamic, unpredictable nature of real human conversation. Think about situations you'll inevitably face: negotiating a lease, advocating for yourself at work, or even handling an emergency. In those moments, fluency and confidence matter far more than a perfectly translated sentence on a screen. Research consistently shows that immersive, interactive learning produces faster and more lasting results than passive digital tools. I'm not asking you to dismiss what's been working for you, rather, I'm suggesting you complement it with something proven. The settlement agencies here offer completely free programs with trained instructors who understand exactly what newcomers need. Why not attend a single session as an experiment? If it doesn't feel worthwhile, you've lost nothing. But if it does, you'll have unlocked an entirely new path to fluency. I only bring this up because I've seen so many people benefit enormously from taking that first step.
Describe what you see in this street market scene. Include details about the people, the vendors, and the overall atmosphere. Begin speaking now.
In this picture, I can see a busy street market on a nice sunny day. There are many colorful tents and tables on both sides of the street. Some vendors are selling fresh fruits and vegetables, and others have flowers and baked goods. In the middle, many people are walking and looking at the products. I can see a woman with a stroller buying some tomatoes from a farmer. There are also some children eating ice cream near a bench. Everyone looks happy and relaxed. The market feels very friendly and welcoming. It looks like a great place to spend a summer morning.
This vibrant scene captures a bustling neighborhood street market during what appears to be a beautiful Canadian summer afternoon. Along both sides of the tree-lined street, vendors have set up an impressive array of colorful stalls draped with canvas awnings. On the left side, a farmer is arranging baskets of freshly picked strawberries and leafy greens while chatting warmly with a customer. Across the way, an artisan is displaying handmade pottery and wooden crafts. The center of the street is filled with a diverse crowd of shoppers, families with young children, elderly couples strolling arm in arm, and a group of teenagers gathered around a food truck selling poutine. A street musician playing guitar adds a cheerful soundtrack to the atmosphere. The overall mood is lively yet relaxed, perfectly capturing the sense of community that these Canadian markets are known for.
This captivating scene depicts a thriving neighborhood street market that beautifully embodies the spirit of Canadian community life on a radiant summer afternoon. The cobblestone street has been transformed into a vibrant open-air marketplace, with dozens of vendor stalls stretching into the distance beneath a canopy of red and white striped awnings. In the foreground on the left, an enthusiastic produce vendor is proudly showcasing crates overflowing with locally grown blueberries, peaches, and bundles of fresh herbs, while an attentive customer carefully examines the selection. Directly opposite, a baker's table is laden with artisanal sourdough loaves and flaky pastries that seem almost irresistible. The walkway between the stalls teems with a wonderfully diverse cross-section of the community. A young couple pushing a stroller pauses to admire handcrafted jewelry, while an elderly gentleman in a sun hat engages in animated conversation with a honey vendor. Further back, children dart playfully between the stalls as a street performer juggles near a maple leaf banner. The entire atmosphere radiates warmth, connection, and the unmistakable joy of a community gathering together to celebrate local culture and commerce.
What do you predict will happen to fuel stations and mechanics in Canada as electric vehicles become more common? Explain why. Begin speaking now.
I think electric vehicles will change a lot of things in Canada. First, I predict that many gas stations will close because fewer people will need gasoline. Some gas stations might add electric chargers to stay open. Also, mechanics will need to learn new skills because electric cars are very different from regular cars. They don't have engines that use oil, so oil changes won't be needed anymore. I think some mechanics might lose their jobs if they don't get new training. However, there will also be new jobs for people who can fix electric car batteries. Overall, I believe this change will be slow but very important for Canada.
I believe the rise of electric vehicles will fundamentally reshape Canada's automotive landscape over the next decade. Regarding fuel stations, I predict we'll see a significant transformation rather than a complete disappearance. Many stations in urban centers will likely convert into charging hubs, offering fast charging services alongside convenience stores and coffee shops where drivers can wait. However, rural stations along highways may struggle to justify the infrastructure investment and could gradually shut down. As for mechanics, the profession will undoubtedly undergo a major shift. Traditional skills like engine repair and exhaust system maintenance will become increasingly obsolete, while expertise in battery technology, software diagnostics, and electrical systems will be in high demand. I expect community colleges across Canada will begin offering specialized EV certification programs to address this skills gap. The transition won't happen overnight, but within 10 to 15 years, the industry will look remarkably different from what we know today.
The proliferation of electric vehicles in Canada is poised to trigger a profound and multifaceted transformation across the traditional automotive service industry. Starting with fuel stations, I anticipate a dramatic reimagining of their business model rather than outright extinction. Forward-thinking operators will almost certainly pivot toward becoming comprehensive mobility hubs, integrating high-speed charging infrastructure alongside expanded retail offerings, co-working spaces, and even partnerships with ride-sharing services to maximize revenue during charging wait times. Conversely, smaller independent stations that lack the capital to invest in this transition will likely face closure, particularly in regions where EV adoption outpaces infrastructure development. The implications for mechanics are equally significant. As internal combustion engines gradually phase out, the demand for conventional mechanical expertise, transmission repair, fuel injection servicing, exhaust system work, will steadily diminish. In its place, a new generation of technicians specializing in lithium-ion battery management, regenerative braking systems, and onboard software diagnostics will emerge as essential professionals. I predict Canadian trade schools and polytechnics will rapidly expand their curricula to accommodate this shift, potentially creating entirely new certification pathways. What makes this transition particularly nuanced is its uneven pace. Metropolitan areas like Toronto and Vancouver will adapt far more quickly than rural provinces, creating a dual-speed economy within the automotive sector that policymakers will need to carefully navigate.
Compare the two job offers and persuade your cousin which one to accept. Begin speaking now.
I think you should take the Toronto marketing job. The salary is higher, and a big company gives you more stability. You will also get good benefits like health coverage and a pension plan. Working downtown means you can network with many professionals. The startup sounds exciting, but it is risky because small companies can fail. Stock options might not be worth anything. Toronto has many opportunities if you want to grow your career later. I really believe the corporate job is the safer and smarter choice for you right now.
Both offers have their strengths, but I would strongly encourage you to accept the Toronto marketing position. First of all, the salary is significantly higher, which matters when you consider Toronto's cost of living and your student loan payments. Additionally, a large corporation provides structured career advancement, comprehensive benefits, and professional development programs that a startup simply cannot match at this stage. While the Vancouver role offers flexibility and stock options, those options carry considerable risk since many startups do not survive their first few years. Furthermore, having a reputable company on your resume will open countless doors in the future. The corporate position is clearly the wiser long-term investment in your career.
I completely understand why you are torn between these two offers, but after carefully weighing the advantages and drawbacks, I am thoroughly convinced that the Toronto marketing position is the superior choice. From a financial standpoint, the higher salary provides immediate security, particularly given the rising cost of living across Canadian cities and the burden of any outstanding student debt. Beyond compensation, established corporations typically offer robust benefits packages, mentorship programs, and clearly defined promotion pathways that are invaluable early in one's career. The Vancouver startup certainly presents an appealing lifestyle with remote flexibility and the allure of stock options. However, the inherent volatility of the startup landscape means those potential rewards come with substantial risk. Moreover, building your professional foundation at a recognized company lends significant credibility to your resume, positioning you for even greater opportunities down the road. Ultimately, the stability and growth potential of the corporate role far outweigh the speculative advantages of the startup.
What would you do and say to deal with this difficult situation? Begin speaking now.
I would first talk to my coworker privately. I would say that I noticed they presented my project proposal as their own work, and that was not fair. I would ask them to tell our manager the truth. If they refuse, I would schedule a meeting with my manager and show my original documents and emails as proof. I would stay calm and professional because getting angry would not help. I believe honesty is important in the workplace, and I deserve credit for my hard work.
This is certainly a frustrating situation, but I would handle it carefully and professionally. My first step would be to approach my coworker in private and calmly explain that I was surprised to see them present my proposal without acknowledging my contribution. I would give them the opportunity to correct the situation voluntarily by speaking with our manager. However, if they were unwilling to do so, I would then request a one-on-one meeting with my manager to discuss the matter. I would bring supporting evidence such as my original drafts, email threads, and file timestamps that clearly demonstrate my authorship. Throughout this process, I would remain respectful and focus on the facts rather than making personal accusations, as maintaining a positive working relationship is still important.
Discovering that a colleague has taken credit for my work is undeniably upsetting, but I would approach this delicate situation with composure and strategic thinking. Initially, I would arrange a private conversation with my coworker in a neutral setting, perhaps over coffee in the break room, and express my concern without being confrontational. I might say something along the lines of, "I noticed during yesterday's meeting that the proposal you presented closely mirrors the work I have been developing independently, and I wanted to discuss how we might clarify our respective contributions with management." This approach gives them a chance to acknowledge the oversight or agree to jointly correct the record. Should my coworker refuse to cooperate, I would escalate the matter professionally by scheduling a meeting with my manager and presenting comprehensive documentation, including original drafts with metadata, relevant email correspondence, and version histories that irrefutably establish my authorship. I would frame the discussion around ensuring accurate attribution rather than assigning blame, which preserves workplace harmony while still protecting my professional integrity and reputation within the company.
Do you believe post-secondary education in Canada should be free? What is your opinion and why? Begin speaking now.
I believe post-secondary education should be free in Canada. Many young people cannot afford university tuition, and they end up with huge student loans. Free education would give everyone an equal chance to succeed. Countries like Germany and Norway already offer free university, and their systems work well. If more Canadians get degrees, our economy will be stronger because we will have more skilled workers. Some people worry about the cost, but the government could use tax money to fund it. Education is a right, not a privilege.
In my opinion, post-secondary education in Canada should absolutely be made free for citizens and permanent residents. The current system places an enormous financial burden on young Canadians, with many graduates entering the workforce carrying tens of thousands of dollars in student debt. This debt delays major life milestones such as home ownership, starting families, and contributing to retirement savings. By eliminating tuition fees, the government would create a more equitable society where academic potential, rather than family wealth, determines access to higher education. Furthermore, a more educated population directly benefits the Canadian economy through innovation and higher productivity. While critics argue that the costs would be prohibitive, nations like Germany and the Scandinavian countries have demonstrated that publicly funded post-secondary education is both feasible and economically advantageous in the long term.
I firmly believe that making post-secondary education free in Canada would be one of the most transformative policy decisions our country could undertake. The current tuition model disproportionately disadvantages students from lower-income backgrounds, perpetuating cycles of inequality that contradict our nation's core values of fairness and inclusivity. Graduates burdened with substantial student debt are less likely to take entrepreneurial risks, purchase homes, or invest in their communities during their most productive years, which ultimately hampers economic growth at a national level. Eliminating tuition barriers would not only democratize access to knowledge but also cultivate a highly skilled workforce capable of driving innovation in critical sectors such as technology, healthcare, and clean energy. Admittedly, the fiscal implications are significant. However, the investment would generate substantial returns through increased tax revenue from higher-earning graduates and reduced expenditure on social assistance programs. Countries such as Germany, Finland, and Norway have successfully implemented tuition-free models without compromising educational quality, providing compelling evidence that such a system is entirely viable. Canada has the economic foundation and political will to follow suit, and I believe future generations would benefit immeasurably from this commitment.
Describe what is happening, what you see and hear, and how people around you are reacting to this unusual event. Begin speaking now.
I am walking down my street on a Saturday morning when I see something very unusual. A famous Canadian actor is standing near the park with a big film crew. There are cameras, lights, and microphones everywhere. My neighbors are very excited and are coming out of their houses to watch. Some children are asking for autographs and taking photos. The celebrity is smiling and talking to everyone very kindly. I can hear people whispering and laughing. It is a very surprising and exciting morning in our quiet neighborhood.
As I step outside for my usual Saturday morning walk, I immediately notice something extraordinary happening on my street. A well-known Canadian television personality has arrived with an entire film crew, and they appear to be shooting a segment right in front of the community center. The street is lined with production vans, and crew members are rushing around setting up large cameras, reflectors, and boom microphones. My neighbors have gathered in small groups along the sidewalk, buzzing with excitement and snapping photos on their phones. Several children have broken free from their parents and are eagerly approaching the celebrity for selfies, which she graciously obliges. The whole atmosphere feels electric and surreal, as our typically peaceful suburban street has been transformed into what looks like a professional film set. It is truly a morning none of us will forget.
What begins as an entirely ordinary Saturday morning in my suburban neighborhood quickly transforms into something remarkably surreal. As I round the corner onto Maple Crescent, I am greeted by an astonishing sight. A convoy of sleek production vehicles lines both sides of the street, and at the center of all the commotion stands none other than one of Canada's most celebrated musicians, surrounded by a bustling film crew capturing what appears to be a documentary segment. Enormous cameras mounted on dollies glide across the pavement, while sound technicians in headphones carefully position boom microphones overhead. The energy rippling through the neighborhood is palpable. Residents who would normally be tending their gardens or walking their dogs have congregated along the sidewalks, their faces a mixture of disbelief and sheer delight. Elderly neighbors clutch their coffee mugs and exchange astonished glances, teenagers frantically text their friends while live streaming the spectacle, and young children dart excitedly between their parents' legs, desperate for a closer look. The celebrity herself radiates warmth, pausing between takes to chat with starstruck fans and pose for photographs. Our quiet, unassuming street has been utterly transformed into a vibrant hub of activity, and the collective sense of wonder hanging in the air is something I doubt any of us will soon forget.
Hey people, how was your test? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or you'll be missing out on some serious fun. See you tomorrow!